Welcome to the St. Johns County Public Library. I am Carla Day. I'm the Young Adult Librarian here at the Bartram Trail Branch. And today we are going to be making an adjustable bracelet cord bracelet. So if you picked up a kit from the library, this is what you would have. You would have a long tube bead here and two smaller ones. And you would have 4 spacer beads and a big bead and the hole for this needs to be big enough that your bracelet cord that's about 15 inches will be able to go through it twice, and we'll get to that later. And this is a clamp, and you will need that for when we go to tie our knots in the bracelet. So here is our completed bracelet so that you can see that. Now if you didn't pick up a kit at the library, what you're going to need is you're going to need some type of cord. I cut mine about 15 inches because that's about average. If you've got a smaller or larger wrist, you might adjust that a little bit. I did cut the ends with my scissors at an angle because that does make it easier to go through your beads than if it's just straight across. So that is why you might need scissors. Your tube bead can be anywhere from 1.5 to 2 inches, and I have these little tube beads, but you could use some smaller round beads that would be about 5/8 to 3/4 of an inch all together. So that would be, if you had 3 beads, they would be about the same length, kind of like that, and it doesn't have to be exact. And anyway, the one thing you would need to keep in mind is to make sure that your beads have a large enough hole for your cord to go through. And again, a bead that's big enough for the cord to go through twice. Okay, so on that note, we'll go ahead and get started on making our bracelet. I'm going to take one end and I am going to put it through that large center bead. And I'm going to put it down to about the middle. Then I'm going to take a spacer bead and I'm going to put my cord through it. And again, that's where angling your cord makes it a little bit easier. I'm going to put another spacer bead on the other side. And then I'm going to take these other beads and put them here. One on each side. And this is where we're going to try to center this up a little bit. Pull that through. Doesn't have to be exact because you can always, there's plenty of extra cord built in. So that's about the center. So what I'm going to do next is I am going to take my clamp and I'm going to put it at one end so that my beads don't move while I am tying my knot. And you don't have to have the same kind of clamp that I have here. You could use just whatever clamp, like for tying chips or something like that. If all else fails, you can ask somebody to hold it maybe while you're doing your knot. So while that is holding those beads still, I'm going to go over here to the other end and I'm going to make a loop just like this. I'm going to bring my cord up through that loop and I'm just going to move it down like that and tie a little knot, and that's going to keep the beads in the middle. And I'm going to go over and take the clamp off. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make a loop. Okay, show you that loop again. So just make a loop, bring the end up through that loop and kind of push that knot over towards your bead as you're tightening it, like that. Okay, next we're going to take the large bead and string it on one side. Then we're going to take a spacer bead or whatever bead that you have, and you're going to tie a knot just like we did before over in the middle. Just make a loop, bring your end up and tie a knot near the end of your loop. And then you're going to take the other side and you're going to put it up through your spacer bead. That's why it's important to make sure that that your cord can go through there twice. You're going to, so you've pulled that second strand up through that bead. You're going to take your other smaller bead and you're going to make another loop and put the end up through and tie another knot up near the end. And then the way that you adjust your bracelet is by moving your cords in and out. And you would actually do that with it on your arm, but that is how it would work. So you would go up like this and you would pull it through like this to adjust it by the ends, and that makes your bracelet. Thank you for joining us at the library today and making a bracelet. And again, a big thank you to the Friends of the Library for paying for all of the materials for our programs and for all the many things that they do for us at the library.